In the sweltering heat of Philadelphia in the summer of 1776, amidst growing tensions between the American colonies and Great Britain, a young Virginian named Thomas Jefferson was given a nearly impossible task. He was asked to write a document that would not only declare the colony's intention to break away from British rule, but also justify that decision to the world. What resulted was one of the most important documents in world history, the Declaration of Independence. So who wrote the Declaration of Independence? While it was the product of a committee's collaboration and revisions by the Continental Congress, Thomas Jefferson stands as its principal author. It was his pen that shaped some of its most enduring phrases and his vision that guided its philosophical foundations. The story of how the Declaration came to be is one that blends grand historical forces with intriguing details about one of America's most influential founding fathers. Let's start with why the document was even needed. By 1776, the relationship between Great Britain and its American colonies had reached a breaking point. Years of grievances over taxation without representation, military occupation of colonial lands, and the denial of basic rights and freedoms had culminated in open conflict. The battles of Lexington and Concord, Bunker Hill, and the Siege of Boston made clear that this was no fleeting dispute, but an existential crisis. The question for the 13 American colonies was how to proceed. Should they seek reconciliation with Britain or sever ties and declare themselves independent? The Continental Congress, which had been meeting regularly to coordinate resistance to British policies, grappled with this monumental decision. As the debate intensified, it became clear that a formal declaration of independence was needed to rally the colonies and justify their actions to the rest of the world. On June 7, 1776, Richard Henry Lee of Virginia proposed a resolution for independence. But before putting the resolution to a vote, the Continental Congress appointed a committee of 5 to draft a formal declaration. This committee would consist of 5 delegates from different colonies: Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, John Adams of Massachusetts, Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, and Robert R. Livingston of New York. Now, you might be wondering why Jefferson was chosen to write such an important document. Well, as John Adams himself noted, Jefferson was admired for his eloquence and his literary skills, and was considered someone who could rise above the controversy that plagued many of the other leaders. Adams also recognized Jefferson's reputation as a thoughtful and relatively uncontroversial leader, having served as the colony's agent in London, where he had successfully negotiated for their interests. It was an important advantage in a highly polarized environment. With the task before them, the members of the committee retreated to separate rooms to draft their ideas, and it was in a rented room on the outskirts of Philadelphia that Thomas Jefferson began composing the Declaration of Independence in late June. Drawing upon the ideas of Enlightenment philosophers like John Locke and Montesquieu, as well as the Virginia Declaration of Rights, Jefferson crafted a powerful text that asserted the colony's right to self-determination. After finishing his draft, Jefferson presented it to the other members of the committee, who offered suggestions and made changes. Once approved by the committee, the draft was submitted to the full Continental Congress for debate. And here is where the story truly becomes a tale of multiple perspectives and collaborative effort. As the Continental Congress debated Jefferson's draft, members made significant changes to the text. John Adams, a strong advocate for independence, played a key role in shaping the document's argument and defense. Benjamin Franklin, with his decades of experience in public life, contributed his wisdom and diplomatic finesse. Franklin in particular helped temper some of Jefferson's more radical phrasings to make the document more palatable to the Congress. Roger Sherman and Robert R. Livingston also offered their insights, ensuring that the document would resonate across regional and political divides. After intense discussions and revisions, on July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress voted to adopt the Declaration of Independence, a document that has since become synonymous with freedom and democracy around the world. In conclusion, while Thomas Jefferson is rightfully credited as the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, it's essential to acknowledge the contributions of his fellow committee members and the broader intellectual currents of the time. Jefferson's brilliance in writing and rhetoric was vital, but it was shaped and refined by the collective wisdom and experience of his contemporaries. Together, they created a masterpiece that has endured the test of time.